The runners are ready. What up with triangles, do we? Well, Antlers won game one. This is game 2 of 3. All right, and they're off once more. They were talking a little bit about talking a little bit in the race room about the first race, which was a really good one. If you just joined us, a 29 and a mid 30. Yeah. All right, Antler's paused outside level 3. He may be on Manip. Dr. Blue did not. I think he had to retry a screen scroll, so even if he was going for the Manip, he probably couldn't keep it. Well, I think Antler's got the Manip in the first room, but lost it after the bomb dropped. So he's not going to get the perfect 5 Dark Nut pattern he would get if he'd stayed frame perfect, but getting the first bomb's not nothing. Some chance on one of those Dark Nuts he just bombed on the way in the ladder, but the game was not nice. So he's going to probably need to clear the other 2 Dark Nuts to get the... Oh, never mind. He just went for them again and got his 2 drops this time. One of those was probably forced. They were saying in the race room they were mostly glad they both got out of 3 clean, so let's hope that happens again. Alright, Antlers out of Manhandla. Let's see how Dr. Blue does. Alright, Dr. Blue got an underroll, meaning he got fewer than 10 hits on the Manhandla core, so he has some unknown count. Could be as low as 5. Actually, I didn't see where he got hit, so... But at any rate, he may just force a rupee next anyway, because he does have 5 bombs, but he could try to get bombs somewhere. Not a big deal. He's killing things on the overworld, so he may... Okay, he forced the rupee. He knows his count now, but he didn't want to walk all that way to get the 5-er. Which makes sense. If the Octorok closer to him had dropped it, I'm sure he would have happily picked it up. But... a rupee on the Vires this time, so he'll be going into the breakfast room with an 8 count to get a bomb force on the second Zol. He actually has a bomb stored on the like, because that's how it works with non-droppers. But he got it off the Zol, because the Zol can actually drop things. Antlers first to the ladder. Dr. Blue taking some damage, and which you really don't want to see at this point. Ideally, you should have beams, but being down to 1.5 hearts is a little scary because we got a Gleeok fight coming up. Antler's taking a bop from a gel there. So he's not going to have beams for Gleeok either unless a Vire is kind and drops a heart. No heart, but he did get 2 bomb drops, which one of them was a force, one of them was lucky. Here's coming in from Jacober's stream. We have a half-heart Gleeok fight for you guys. See how Dr. Blue does with this as Antlerz heads over to level 1. So there can only be one Gleeok fireball on the screen at once, so his dodging is very much with that in mind. It's slightly more likely to come from the red head than the green head, but I wouldn't gamble on that in his situation. He gets through it and forces a rupee on Gleeok. That means that he did not get hit for the last 10 kills, including the 2 heads. So nicely done by Dr. Blue. Antlerz pirouettes at the entrance of level 1 to save a key there. I didn't even notice Dr. Blue was at 0 bombs. He farmed. Dr. Blue does track his globals, so he knew where the random chances are. The global counter controls which enemies can drop on which kill, and he was very careful to get the blue Octorok, which is in the bomb group, at the right kill, and it paid off. You can also reroute to level 2 in that situation, but or do some extra rooms in 1 to get extra keys. But that bomb really helped him out, and I didn't even realize he was at 0 bombs with Gleeok. So. All right, Antler's way ahead on money, pretty good on bombs, and he will. Out of 1 shortly. Yeah, some people pick up the map in that room, but it's I think hugging the corner is what most people do. Or Lack Attack, a former world record holder in this category, current world record holder in 100% Up+A, I think. Would always call out the map when he picked up the level 1 map. Kind of a flourish thing. So Antler's scrolling across the desert as Dr. Blue finishing off level 1, and he will make his trip to level 2 now. Dr. Blue may stop for the Armos 30 this time. I would unless I got a 5er on the overworld with 16 rupees, because I'd rather be at 20 or higher to going into 2. We'll see how he feels about it. But Antler's at 34. He just needs 6 rupees. Well, 35. He just needs 5 rupees out of level 2, which is free, more or less. I mean, it's not impossible that this game could just drop nothing for 20 kills in a row, but not likely. And he gets his 5er. So everything else he picks up will be ammunition for the bow. In terms of money. Dr. Blue not getting the Armos on the way in. We'll see how that pays off. It's not that much slower to get it on the way out if he gets skunked in two. He gets a rupee off the mold arms. Alright, he's at 37, so he's probably gonna sword Gurias again to get the last force rupee. There it is. He also has no bombs, so he doesn't have much choice but to do that. Putting with the key drop in the mold arms room was hard to see. You should see some of the stuff we get in randomizer, like the wooden boomerang on a on a sandy floor like that. But anyway, so Antler's building up his count, heading into 5 for the big Dark Nut fight. Dr. Blue heading up to the northeast to grab his money and then do the same thing. This is game 2. We don't have the Tringles up, unfortunately, but Antlers did win game 1. So Antlers will, if Antlers wins this one, he will go out to the finals. If Dr. Blue wins, we will go to game 3. Looked like Antlers was going to get a good bomb on the initial attack, and then they all just turned around. But he gets them now. I would not count either of them out at this point. This is not an insurmountable gap by any means. No, the other side of the bracket is not decided yet. That will be decided Friday night in the semifinal between Cantaloupe, me, and the Third Extent. That'll be over on Speed Gaming. I think at 9 o'clock, but I'll double check that later. Trolled by that Dodongo, and then the Dodongo turned back into the bomb. What a silly guy. The Dodongo, not Antlers. that rupee, so he will have some arrows to play with in the river room if he doesn't want to try for that bomb force, which messed him up last time. Honeys for Dr. Blue. That saves a fraction of a second going that way and stabbing through and looks really cool. Which are always the best tricks. That save tiny amounts of time but look good. Yeah, the 60 is actually the cheap meat. All the other meat shops are 100. So that's okay that he's not getting the bomb force. Arrows do 2 HP of damage, so not quite as fast as the bombs on those Gurias, but they also you can't like lose count. So Doc Blue is killing stuff, so I think he's gonna at least try for the force. He has arrows as a backup. Seven. Antlers getting the red candle. Dr. Blue got the bomb force this time, and Antlers didn't, so that'll yeah, it was very well done. So that'll make up a little bit of time. Oh, Antler's in bomb trouble now. Whew, okay. The Dodongo ate his first bomb that he was trying to farm there, and so he really needed to not get trolled by a Dodongo there, or else he would have had the same problem as Dr. Blue last time, and Dr. Blue would be in the lead now. But even with that little problem, Antlers did give Dr. Blue time to catch up a bit, so the gap is closing. There's done with 7. As Dr. Blue heads into the Wall Masters. Nice bubble pattern for the strat Dr. Blue was doing. If the bubbles can crowd you on the left side to the point that it would be better to just menu and make progress right. But in that case, the bubbles all stayed out of his way, so that strat definitely paid off, speed-wise. his magical sword. 2012. Both runners have one bomb heading into 6, which is the minimum to not have to do extra rooms in 6. They would, of course, like some more bombs used for combat. Antlerz does not get any help on that score from the Wizrobes, nor does he get a heart. He was killing those Zolls hoping for a heart, because beams coming into here can be so useful, but no luck. And Dr. Blue picks up his magical sword, 2105. It's about a, what is it, 53 second difference between them? The gap is closing. Or closed a little bit on the last split anyway. Game not wanting to give either runner beams here. Oh, but Antlerz forces a fairy, but then decides he'd rather just go ahead than chase it. Antlerz out of 6. Dr. Blue into the second magical breakfast room. Oh, he doesn't have any bombs, so got a bit of an issue here. He will need a bomb drop at some point before level 8. Dr. Blue is tracking his global, so I assume he killed that Zol to set up a bomb chance on the virus. Does not get it. I think that might have been the 6, 7, 8, and he got the 7 rupee, which the game is hilarious like that. That's true, Jake Over. He did have a clock he could count from. But Dr. Blue typing uh-oh SpaghettiOs in chat because he really needs one of the blue moblins on the overworld to hook him up with a bomb drop. If he kills everything and nothing drops, then he could maybe force some rupees and buy bombs, but it's not the situation you want to be in. We'd really like to see just have a moblin give him a bomb so we can have a reasonably close rate. And yeah, Antlerz tearing through level 8 here. First room in particular. They're Octrox don't help Doc Blue out. Got some chances on the moblins here. There's one. Alright, he got both the 6 and 8 this time, so. Meanwhile, Antlerz forcing a bomb on Gliok at the end of 8. That's actually a little easier than the force on the level 4 Gliok that you saw Dr. Blue do in Game 1. You have Magical Sword, but still impressive. Yeah, Yeah, Antlerz kind of needed that Gliok bomb too, because he, Ooh, Dr. Blue taking a bit of a beating from the Darknuts here. This is a bomb on the key room. Dr. Blue out of 8. The bomb of destiny from the Octorok by the bridge could have really used that bomb luck a little earlier in this run, but he'll take it. Blue. Oop. Dr. Blue trying not to get bubbled before he picks up this key. A Wizrobe pattern for Antlerz. They started to group up and then changed their minds. And Antlerz. Girl. 2 minutes away from making it to the finals. Nice next room for Dr. Blue. Yeah, sub 30's on the table if he has a flawless finish here. It's partly up to Ganon though, because if he gets a unlucky warp, there's no way to do it. But see how close he comes. Antlerz did sub 30 in the first race. Dr. Blue gets the clip strat again. Unfortunately, he had 2 Wizrobes that spawned on the left side, and you can't beam them both before they beam you. So he had to bail out of the strat, but still gets a quick room. And Antlerz going for fast patter. He's going to face tank to get as much damage in as possible. And he's into Ganon. And not going to sub 30, but coming very close. That is a 30:03 by race time, which is 30:01 by speedrun.com timing. So Not quite sub 30, but very close. Let's cheer on Dr. Blue as he does his final run through level 9 of the tournament. Definitely not his final run ever, I'm sure. But to transition the screen as that bomb went off to get a swag glitch, but the timing was off. Alright, he takes down Patra. And Dr. Blue finishes with a 31-36. We are joined now by Antlerz. GG. Sir, if you're talking, your mic's off.
Yo, thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Well done. So you are in the finals for any percent no Up+A. You've already won the finals for second quest. You have a semifinal tomorrow in Swordless, and you're in the finals for 100% on Monday. What could you do to make this tournament go better for you?
Get to next week. Honestly, it's a lot running 4 categories, and coming in, I didn't expect to do this well. I expected to slip up and somewhere. So
yeah, and the opponents only get harder. So good luck to you going forward. And we're now joined by Dr. Blue. GG, sir.
Good games, Antlerz.
Yo, good games, dude. Man, I think the difference was kind of just a few tiny little things in both runs. Some bomb luck, or well, not bomb luck, but river force in the first race, and some level 3 stuff in the second race.
Yeah, I was playing a little overly cautious in level 3. I was always trying to make sure I had plenty of bombs for Manhandla. I always had enough bombs, assuming I get a perfect bomb, of course, and I think I did both times, ironically. So that didn't help, and I don't think either of us got manipulation either time. I don't know if you did in the first factor once or twice.
On the second race, I got steak sauce, and the first factor, I got the first bomb, and then I stabbed it too early, and I was not going to make it to the wall for fast steaks, so I just went after getting the first bomb.
I gotcha. I didn't make it in time either time. Both of my scrolls were bad, but I got the first bomb both of my attempts anyway, and second factor was just your typical, Armos go all over the place thing, but overall not too bad. I am glad that I think for the most part, there weren't any major mishaps on either of us. The worst was probably just me going back in level 7 to go get bombs after killing Dig Dogger with my sword. Other than that, though, we didn't have any deaths. We didn't have any major walkbacks either of us had to do. We didn't have to do Gleox of Shame or go to any rerouting or anything like that. So overall, I'm happy that that's how the races turned out.
Yeah, honestly, it's always better whenever there's not a catastrophic mistake or bit of bad luck by either person. So I'm glad that they were both at least good representations of our general skill set. So
yeah, I think so.
And honestly, it could have easily been the other way around. I've seen the times that you've been putting up in this tournament, and it could have easily been flip flopped.
It could have. If I had tied my qualifying PB, I would have tied you this race. With that 30:03.
Yeah, definitely. Was the 30:03 your best of the tournament? I thought you got a sub 30 at some point.
I didn't get a sub 30. I think I've gotten like a 30:01. I know I've gotten multiple 30:0Xs at this point.
Gotcha.
But
yeah, you've been really consistent with that 30:0, which for racing, that's really good.
Yeah, honestly, out of all my tournament racing and prep, this was, well, I don't want to say prep, all of my tournament races, this was probably, unfortunately, my worst performance, which is not something you can do in the semifinals. So, it is what it is. And I say my quote worse, and I had a decent time, at least in the first race, I believe. So I'm not too ashamed by calling these times my worst times ever, sort of thing. I did have a worse time last week in my first race with Captain Green because I died to Manhandla and to Gliok, and I just had to do all kinds of rerouting, but I'm not counting that race. I think just overall, my general performance was unfortunately at its low point here tonight, which, like I said, you can't do against a player like you. You definitely can't do at any point when you're in a top 4 or anything like that. But it is what it is. And I had a lot of fun racing against you and in the tournament altogether.
Yeah, man, likewise. This, of all of my races that I've done in any category so far, this race is the one that, made me the most nervous going in, of any of them. And it's not to say that it's not to say that to discount any of the other opponents, but I think the category has a lot to do with it, and just the fact of how consistent you've been at this. I was like, I cannot slip up or he's absolutely going to beat me. So that was, my nerves were going pretty wild in the first race, especially after I missed the manips.
Yeah, that was our closest point, was when past recorder room. We were pretty tight for a while up until I just totally goofed the river room. I shot one beam too many and I killed an extra keys for my 10. So I didn't even get hit. I just overkilled, unfortunately.
That's the worst. Like that feels much worse than getting hit, honestly.
Yeah, because it's like you're doing everything right. You've gone through all the effort to get to I think I had a 6 count going in, and I was just having trouble landing the final bomb and dodging bubbles. And then, I was swinging my sword, and it just pointed to the right, and the keys happened to get in the way of it, bodyguard style, and that was that. So I tried.
I'm glad you recounted that, because I was looking at Antler's river room because guys were there at the same time, and I looked over and I saw you didn't get the bomb force, but I didn't really see what happened. So chat said you got bubbled, but I didn't realize you got the overkill, which is a bummer. But it's still some great races, and it is nice, like you were saying, like you were thinking you have to bring your A game because DoctorBlue is so consistent. It's the great thing about racing, is it forces you to up your game because you're pushing each other, and so even though it's a competition, there's some collaboration. There's a collaborative aspect to that. Like Antlerz is a better player because he raced DoctorBlue. So it's fun to see, and those great races to watch, and we're looking forward to more.
Yeah, I'm happy I was able to keep hot on his heels. Like I could at least tell him, like, no, you're not going to go get that potion. You're going to have to play level 9 honestly, and if you die, that would be my chance to overtake you. And I don't think you were close to dying in 9 either race. I was only kind of peaking by that point.
I got beat up real bad by Patra 2B in the first race.
Okay.
I didn't take a single hit after that, but it was a little scary for a second because it got me down to 4 hearts.
Ugh.
So I had to take some safety strats after that. But in the second race, we were, I'll be honest, we were one Dodongo troll away from probably going to a game 3.
Oh, wow, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in 7.
Yeah, I didn't get River Force, and I was trying to get a safety pack off the Dodongos off the triple Dodongo room. I had 2 bombs. I laid one, and I didn't realize that there was one coming up through the Beamos statue that was going to make it to that bomb before it went off to smoke the one coming from the right. So he ate it, and then I only had 1 bomb left, and not
Ooh.
even enough to get to Aqua at that point.
I
So I'm like, well, here goes nothing. If he turns down on me, it's probably game 3.
Wow, I did get River Force second race. I had noticed I had closed the gap somehow, somewhere in level 7. I wasn't sure what exactly occurred, but obviously, like, that was one of the factors. I was still at least 30 seconds away from you even after that. But yeah, I hadn't realized that your bomb count was so dire at that point. Second race, like I said, no issues for me in 7, or pretty much the rest of the race, really. Well, okay, no, that's not true. I had to farm for bombs outside level 8 before going into level 8. Now that I remember, and I got 2 bomb drops off the globals 5 and 7, and then after that, I just got the bomb of destiny, headed to 9, so I didn't have to worry about bombs anymore. So yeah, no bomb luck in 6 at all. And that was with aligning my count. So for folks watching, if you saw me killing random things before level 6, John probably mentioned it at some point, but I was aligning my counts to try and get 2 bomb chances in the chapel, the first room in level 6 with all the orange whiz robes. Didn't get any. Didn't have a great 6 even after that, but also wasn't like getting any bombs at all, unfortunately. And that can just happen. Like, even if you lined up all those 41% chances, you just don't get any.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a similar experience in level 6, the second race. To be honest, I walked in with 1 bomb. I think I got my I think I got my only bomb drop in. It might have been MB2. But I didn't get another bomb drop that wasn't forced the rest of the the rest of the race. So um, it was definitely kind of having to make my own luck, slowing down a little bit. I had to force in the force in the foyer of 9. Then I had to force again after next room. I didn't have to, but I did.
I ended up doing the same. Yeah, and it was just kind of, yeah, I kind of should. Both races, though, I got the clip in reverse C. Although the second race, I had 2 orange whiz roads spawn to the left, so I had to bail out of it, which slowed things down. But in the first race, I had a pretty decent Rev C in terms of optimization, but wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, you did get that clip both times. It was cool to see. So so tomorrow, 7 p.m. on Speed Gaming, we have the Premier Bracket final. That is Dr. Blue and Mr. Dunlow. That's the lower bracket in any percent no Up+A, the guys who weren't in the top 16, and they're the finals there. And then right after that at 8, we have Antlers versus King Doll in the swordless semifinal. So that's over on Speed Gaming tomorrow.
Who's playing Mr. Dunlow? Because I know I'm not playing Mr. Dunlow tomorrow.
Oh, did I say? What did I say?
You said my name.
Oh, Mr. Dunlow and Adirondack Rick.
There we go.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah. Mr. Dunlow and Adirondack Rick at 7, and Antlers and King Doll right after that, and then Third Extent versus Cantaloupe, deciding who's facing Antlers in this bracket on Friday night. The 100% final between Antlers and Cantaloupe on Monday night, and I'm sure the other finals will be next week as well. So keep an eye out. None of that's all of the races I just mentioned are on Speed Gaming. We may have one of the finals next week here on ZSR, but Soul Blade will tell you about the rest of what's happening on ZSR. Thanks to ZeldaSpeedRuns for the restream. Thanks to Dr. Blue and Antlers for a great couple of races, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Yep. Good games.
Yeah.
Thanks to the runners and John for hanging out and doing that. Coming up on Friday, May 31st at 11:15 a.m., we have the MMR Zora Easter Tournament Grand Finals. Eris versus Spec. And we also have a continuation of the Link to the Past Survivals of Hyrule tournament. It's going to be Ricky of Kokiri versus Darkness Lyric. And that's going to be happening at 3 p.m. Eastern on the 31st. Yeah. And then game 2 of the Easter tournament is Saturday, June 1st at 11:15 a.m. Eastern. So tune in for that, and thank you all once again, and we will see you at those times.